Right, now I'm going to have a little go at UPS. I sold this printer on eBay, and it went for £122, working, functional, kit of spares. And when it got to the customer, you see that red bracket is what it could do. It was packed in the original box it came in, which has been in the loft for 7 years. It was covered in the tape with fragile written all over it. Now, it got to my customer, and it was broken. Now, it was the man's first printer, and it was fully working when it left here, but he couldn't get it to print. How 3D printer works is that it extrudes a hot filament from an extruder, which melts it onto the thing it's building up, and the extruder wasn't extruding. Now, he was going to return it to me, and I asked him and I set the return address at the National Museum of Computing, because I decided coming up to Christmas I didn't want the hassle and stress of fixing it, and that being obviously maybe a plug fallen out or something inside, it should have been a very easy fix for an establishment that knows all about computer technology. So UPS in effect damaged it on its way to the customer, and I'm finding it here. Now look what happened. But it was still basically working. It was simply an electrical problem, but obviously it had been taken a hit somewhere, being dropped or something, plug knocked out. It should have been an easy fix. So I donated it, and once again it travelled by UPS again, this time for a second time. And when it arrived at the Museum of Computing, despite being in the original packaging, it's completely smashed the carriage. It has basically wrecked it. The machine has been destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. You can see there the plastic carriage, where that carriage there should ride along up and down on that bar. They said the belts are broken, the whole thing's ripped apart. It is showing the sort of damage that is commensurate with being thrown off the back of a lorry. In its original packaging, with the word fragile all over it, it is clearly obvious that the person who was handling it didn't give even the slightest monkeys, and there is absolutely no way that it would have sustained that level of damage other than being hurled off the back of a truck. Because the original packaging that it came from China in should have protected it, but it didn't. I mean, one cannot only imagine the sort of G-forces that it's been subjected to. The result is that the National Museum of Computing, who are going to use it for their STEM education centre, has now been deprived of a 3D printer. So I am now asking UPS to protect their honour by buying the current version of the exact same printer, the FlashForge Creator Pro. I mean, read the description. FlashForge Creator Pro, that's the one that's been wrecked. It's an early model. It's in a plywood frame, but it had some serious upgrades to it. I'd spent quite a lot of money on it, and when it was new, it cost me over £1,000 new, because the technology was more expensive in 2013. And there it is, and here's the modern equivalent. It's the same print. If you look close, you can see the same mechanism inside. And so basically I'm asking UPS to defend your honour by buying the National Museum of Computing a replacement printer. Because never mind what it's worth monetarily, you've basically deprived them of a printer. So I'd like you to replace it. Thank you.